Hey guys, Marche Unlimited from DGReviews.com here, and this is going to be my follow-up to the Guild Wars article that I wrote just last week. And here I'm going to go over some of the things that I just glossed over, or hardly mentioned at all, in the article, because there is so much to mention with this game. So, let's get into it. First thing I'm going to address is the weapon skills, which is something that I thought was kind of a weak link. But even then, really not that weak. What I'm talking about is when you equip a new weapon type, let's say you're switching from daggers to a normal sword, you're going to have to unlock the new skills associated with that weapon by killing things. And there's nothing essentially wrong with that other than it can get a little tedious. And tedium is kind of one of the cardinal sins of any game, in my opinion, if you ask me. So that's kind of a knock against it, although I understand why they implemented this. From my understanding, it's to kind of ease players into the transition between the weapons, since different weapons fill different roles. Believe it or not, a sword is actually going to play fairly different than a character equipped with a dagger. So, again, understand why it makes sense, but at the same time I'm kind of like, was that really necessary? As gamers, can't we be expected to figure out what works and what doesn't on our own? Oh well. Next is the skill points, which not a lot needs to be said here. They're points that you get to unlock different skills, utility skills specifically. And how you do that, you'll see the little markers on your map, you'll run there, you'll do whatever it is the little task is. You'll get your points, you'll open up a character menu, you can spend it. And there are 3 slots on the hotbar for your utility skills, and I almost think that 3 isn't enough because there are a lot of different skills to unlock. Maybe that's just me, because, you know, a lot of us MMO players are used to a pretty massive UI for all of our skills, and this is the complete opposite. This is, for an MMO, pretty minimalistic. So, take that for what it's worth. Maybe you'll like it, maybe you won't. I'm okay with it, I can adjust. And then we have, traits. Again, not much needs to be said here either, because what are traits? They're skill trees. They're, like, if you're in World of Warcraft, then it's your spec options, basically. Only there are 5 of them to choose from instead of the usual 3. And you start getting your trait points around, I believe it's level 10. With the level cap being 80, that means you're going to have 70 points, which each tree takes, I believe, 30 points to max out. So you can max out 2 trees and then throw a few sporadic points in there for kicks, if you feel like. Next on the agenda is PvP, and unfortunately I didn't have the chance to try out the World v World that everyone is clamoring about. I just ran out of time during the weekend. But I did have a chance to try out some of the more traditional PvP, and that was a pretty good experience. That seemed to be balanced, it seemed to be functional, which always a good sign in a beta, and it didn't wow me, but I didn't see anything wrong with it. You know, if you wanna lock horns with an enemy team and just go at it, yeah, this'll get you your fix. The personal story is the part that I'm going to talk about longest here, because I'm just going to provide my experience and examples with the personal story, because that's all I really can do, since there are so many different combinations with the different choices you can make in character creation, the different races. So this was my personal story, which was in character creation. I made the choice to be raised amongst the nobility and to have a missing in action sister. And one of my character's regrets is never recovering her body from the centaur ambush that her unit was caught in, and the going story is that, okay, yeah, no one came back from that alive. So, the personal story itself, though, starts out where you are defending the village of Shaymore in the human area, since I played a human thief, and you're defending it against the centaurs, and okay, you win, the centaurs are driven off, everything's mostly okay, and you're now the village of Shaymore. From there, you get a letter from your NPC buddy, who is also a noble in this case, and saying, yeah, you did a great job, we're going to throw a party for you, show up soon. And so you show up, and I will mention that there is no actual time constraint based on any kind of like priority in the personal story. You can just show up whenever. So show up, and oh yeah, you're a party, you're so great, you're so awesome, everything's going cool, party's winding down, when bandits rush in, break up the scene, and kidnap your buddy who invited you. So you follow them, you beat up the bandits, you save your friend, and on the leader of the bandit's body you find a note addressed from someone higher up in the government that apparently was scheming this for a little bit and seems to be just behind these bandits in general. So you start investigating, and you do that for a couple steps, like, okay, talk to you, what about you, can we investigate you? You get the idea. Eventually you find a guy, you nail him to the wall. Eventually, that results in a fight to the death, if I can talk right, which is pretty fun. Again, this is all more entertaining than I make it sound. And then you find, okay, the ambush that my sister was caught in was a setup, it was planned by another schemer, again in the human government, and so now you have to track him down. But before you can do that, there are whispers that apparently from that particular raid, the centaurs decided to take on some POWs, and one of them might be your sister. So then the story kind of deviates from stopping the scheme to, my sister might still be alive, I can go find her, and so you do that, and in the beta, you find the camp where your sister is being held, you find it, you rescue her, and that's where it ends. Which, okay, yeah, that's a pretty good cliffhanger for what it is. None of the storytelling in that is really like, groundbreaking, I guess you could say, but its implementation is definitely well done, and that is why you hear so much about the personal story, because the implementation is the groundbreaking part. And who knows, maybe, I'm sure, you know, if you know, the level cap is 80, that there's still plenty more story to go through, and I'm sure there's going to be far more dramatic twists and turns in there, because the storytellers of ArenaNet seem to be just that, storytellers, and have a pretty good grasp on what they're doing. So, as I said in the article, it's just a good game. Everything comes together, it works, it fits well. Even in the beta stages, there were not a lot of bugs and problems. It is going to be incredibly polished, I have no doubt, once it finally comes out, whenever that may be, because we still don't have a release date. But such is life. So, and if you have any more questions, curious about anything else, leave a comment in the section below, and I'll answer, get back to you with whatever info I can give you. So, I'm March Unlimited from dgreviews.com. If you see this video and it interests you, give us a look. Until next time.